would you be willing to speak under oath to give your version of those events?
100%.
So if Robert Mueller wanted to speak with you about that,
I would be glad to tell him exactly what I just told you.
President Trump there saying he would be willing to speak under oath. Is it a good idea? Let me bring in Nick Ackerman back with me, former Watergate prosecutor, and Michael Caputo, a former Trump campaign advisor and ongoing ally of the Trump administration. Michael, I start with you. Is it a good idea? Could it hurt Donald Trump if he testifies?
Well, when I got contacted by the House Intelligence Committee and invited to come and testify, I was told by my attorneys and any other lawyer who I would speak to that speaking to investigators in the House or the Senate is really a dangerous enterprise. But it really gets to be a sticky wicket when you go to speak to the special prosecutor and the investigators. I've not been contacted by the special prosecutor in the Russia investigation, but I think it could be a mistake for the president to do this. I know he's been deposed before because he's a very successful businessman. He's been in and out of corporate litigation for a couple of generations. So I think he knows what to expect. I also think his lawyers have a pretty good handle on this. I'll support whatever they decide to do, but I think it's something they might want to consider taking a pass on.
Nick?
Well, if I were advising Donald Trump what to do as an attorney, I would tell him to take the fifth. The problem, because he's just got too much to lose here. His lawyers, first of all, he's got a history of lying. He's certainly not going to tell the truth to his lawyers. And the real problem he's got is with Mike Flynn, because we don't know, and his lawyers don't know, exactly what Flynn is going to say. And if I were a prosecutor, I would try and get him on record as to what I know Flynn can say that is corroborated by other testimony and other evidence. And I think that is the real problem he's got going into this. Now, on the other hand, politically speaking, there is no way he can take the Fifth Amendment. He can't refuse to answer questions saying, I refuse to answer on the grounds that a truthful answer would tend to be incriminating.
He could argue that as president, if it at least relates to matters of state and national security, et cetera, that maybe he shouldn't have to testify.
Except for the fact that everything they want to ask him about is going to be, for the most part, what happened before he became president. The obstruction part is different. But certainly as to any conspiracy between the campaign and the Russian government, he doesn't have any privilege there.
Do you worry, Michael Caputo, that whether or not any actual links to Russia that involve the campaign are found in a criminal way, which has not at all been proven by the evidence, do you worry that Donald Trump's style of speaking about this could cause more problems? This is a person that I know you believe in and that you've worked for, but apart from ideology, this is a person who announced that Russia was on his mind when he removed Jim Comey, who had a tweet go out from his account that he knew Flynn lied to the FBI, and then we were all told to make believe that that was written by someone else. This is a person who, apart from what happened with Russia, which I'm always careful and fair to note has not been proven in any way at a criminal level, does say things, you have to admit, that hurt his case.
Well, I think that there's credible reporting out there from the New York Times and other organizations that this investigation, especially Mueller and what Mueller wants to ask the president about, is leaning more towards obstruction than Russia. And we've seen no real evidence of criminal activity or even collusion with Russia throughout this investigation, and certainly it doesn't point to the president. However, in my opinion, I think that, it's definitely a risk for the president to do this. But what they're really after is this the president's conversations with General Flynn, it seems to me. And I think the Democrats, as well as a lot of other people, want to know the conversations between the president and General Flynn when they were discussing the accusations about Russia, et cetera. And, if there was any discussion of falsification or concealment, that would be a problem. It might lead to an obstruction charge, but I just don't see it.